Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Annoyed Gamer. I am Marcus Beer, and ooh boy, howdy, I am tired. Filming this on the Thursday after the Sony PS4 event, and I have been up for 12 hours already, and it's only lunchtime. So, I may ramble a bit today, I might get a bit cranky. It's all for your entertainment, because I'm a professional. I'm not a professional. All right, so I'm going to talk to you about the state of previews and the games media. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, a watershed, if you will, because obviously we had the debacle that was Aliens Colonial Marines a couple of weeks ago. They've been showing us the demo and all that other footage, and then the game came out and it looked nothing like it, and obviously people were pissed off. If you want the full story, check out last week's show. If you haven't checked out last week's show, what the hell are you thinking? But then, of course, while I was recording last week's show on the Thursday, a lot of people were up in Seattle at Bungie. Why? Because Bungie was showing off Destiny, and everybody was really excited because it's Bungie, and you know they've done the Halo franchise and built the Xbox with that, and you know a lot of people love that game. And you know while I have ups and downs with it, I can appreciate that they've got a market and they've got a bunch of people who are really excited to learn what their new stuff is. So yeah, 100 odd journalists all the way up to Seattle for a day and a half of something that my good friend Adam Sessler termed a corporate Kickstarter. Basically, there was some screenshots, and there was a little bit of video, and then there was some pictures of the office and the people who work on the game, and a tour of the office, and an in-depth interview with the office cat, apparently. Up until the last couple of years, I think the publishers have really started to take advantage of goodwill. The almighty dollar is more important than ever before, and now it's a case of, all right, yeah, we're going to drag you up to Seattle for a day and a half, and we're going to show you pictures of our office and pictures of our staff and have some more tours of the office. You want gameplay? Well, here's 4 seconds here and there. But you know, thank you for coming and give us all this great coverage and build up all this hype for us. Oh, and P.S. when the embargo's over, we're going to make sure the pre-order pages go live. That fucking stinks. We're not going to go all the way to London or Japan or Montreal or wherever just to get the same information that 70 or 80 other sites are. You know, and this is where the PR people, if they're good PR people, they are going to step up their game. They are going to start looking at how they break down their stories. That's one of the things when I was a PR guy, and you know there were a good few others I worked with who looked at it the same way. You have your game, and the stories in the game make up the pieces of the pie, and you've got to make sure that you give exclusive stuff to different people so that they're not regurgitating the same crap. All right, so what am I saying? I'm saying we need to ask more questions. Like I said, I've listed a bunch of journalists who are fantastic at asking questions, whether it be on Twitter or on their sites or whatever. And we need to have more of that. We need to be asking the questions. And the PR people and the developers and the publishers, they have got to learn to take the rough with the smooth. Don't go threatening us with embargoes or threatening us with blacklisting, threatening us that, oh, we won't send you the code or the product or whatever because you said mean shit about our last game. Here's the deal. If you don't do stupid stuff, we won't talk about it. If you don't release shitty games, we won't bitch about them. Am I getting through to you? Is the logic finally appearing to you? Now I realize you invest a lot of money as publishers, you know, in development teams and in games, and you have to get them out to make your bottom line and stay solvent. Nobody likes seeing companies go the route of THQ or the route of, you know, developers who go belly up. It's always sad and it's not fun. Nobody wants that. We want every game to be great. We want everybody to buy the games and everything to be a success. And it's never going to happen, unfortunately. But if shows like this and people like Jim Sterling and a couple of other journalists who ask the questions, Adam Sessler again, if they continue to ask those questions, sooner or later somebody's going to take notice and say, you know what, we need to be a little bit more receptive. We need to listen to the media, because the media, if we ask the questions, sooner or later it's going to get home to people in the publishing world that, guess what, you're not going to get your cozy coverage anymore. You're not going to get your cushy little preview that's going to be nice, because we are going to just not cover your game. We will step away. And yeah, you could go to another site where, yes, somebody is going to say that this is the most awesome, bestest game ever in the world, but unfortunately the credibility of that people, those sites or whatever, is going to take a pounding as the bad games come out. We have a symbiotic relationship with publishers right now, which we need to get away from. The one group we need to be in a relationship with is you, the viewer, the reader, the person who comes to blogs. We need to make sure we serve you guys faithfully. We don't pander to you. We don't pander to anybody. We ask the questions. And that means some of you are going to have to step away from being fanboys. If we criticize somebody, the head of a development company, or we criticize a certain game, it's not because we're haters, it's not because we're bought out, it's because that's what we are supposed to do if we call ourselves journalists. As you know, we love games. That's why we do this. We don't write and blog and talk about games because it's a paycheck. God knows the paychecks are never any good, and so many people are getting laid off right now because the money's horrible. I feel so sorry for all those people who lost their jobs this week. The one group that we don't have to hold ourselves to is the publishers, the developers. It's nice to have friends in the industry and it's nice to hang out with everybody. You got to take the rough with the smooth. And that's it. That's the show for this week. I'll be back next week. I will be way more awake and way more focused, I promise. And I'm sure that somebody is going to do something somewhere in the industry to piss me off, to piss you off, and give me another 7 or 8 minutes of ranty time. As always, follow me on Twitter. Back next week. I'm out. See ya.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.